my beautiful friends, and welcome back to another episode of Aligned and Thriving for Teachers. I'm back again, and today's topic, I have to say, this is a good one. This is about love, teaching, and the tide in between dating and relationships, just all of the things as a teacher. I want to get real today. We're gonna do this. We're gonna talk about relationships, love life, dating, all of it. And I'm gonna get personal because honestly, I think the best stuff comes from real stories. And of course, I've got a few because I've lived a good life. I'm still living a good life, I should say. So whether you are in the dating phase, the newly married phase, in the thick of family life like I am, or somewhere in between, or even at the other side of this, I think you're going to find something special in this episode that makes you go, yes, that is me, because I've been through most of it, and every single stage has certainly had its own challenges, its own lessons, and its own, like I didn't see that coming type of moments. So go get yourself a coffee, get comfy, and let's get into it. So let's start from the beginning, the dating phase. Now, if you're in this right now, I want you to know it's a lot. It really is. And I don't think that people talk about what it actually looks like to be dating when you're also a teacher. For me, I could only really date on weekends, full stop. Like Monday to Thursday, I was in full teacher mode, head down, marking, planning, in bed at a reasonable hour. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like that's when my brain would have some capacity to start to switch off and I could actually think about something other than school. Okay? Now, that's not because I didn't want a relationship. I absolutely did. It was just that I genuinely had nothing left in the tank during the week, and you might be exactly the same. Or you might be able to find a better balance than I possibly could, and that's totally okay too. We're all different. I still made time for sport during the week because I'm not like a complete hermit, but romantically, like weekends were my thing. Okay? But here's something nobody actually prepared me for. So not all of your dates are going to understand teaching. And honestly, you can't expect them to straight away. I have had partners in the past who had absolutely zero interest in education, like did not want to hear about it ever. Didn't want to talk about it, just nothing. And at the time, that was really hard to navigate because teaching is such a huge part of who we are and who we become, basically. So I also had to learn, and this took me time, don't get me wrong. I had to learn that not every conversation has to be about the classroom. You have to read the room, guys. Like, your date doesn't need to know about every behavior incident and every parent complaint on your first few dates, or especially if they remind you of a certain student. Like, that is what your teacher friends are for. That's what your circle is for, the people who get it, who live it, who you can fully like debrief with. And also, like, hello, confidentiality. You can only talk in hypotheticals so much before people actually start to work out who you're talking about. And that is like so not professional. So we're not going to be doing that because we want to be the best teachers we can and not be that teacher that says those things about those kids. And if you just heard, I just dropped my notes on the floor because, you know, I like to keep myself on track. I'm just going to get them off the floor. Oopsie. Okay, back to where I was. So, yes, guys, look, I talk with notes because otherwise I get way off topic like I am now. And Nyla is just barking her head off in the background. And like, that's just another thing to add into talking about like having a dog. But back to where I was. So, relationships. Like, your date doesn't need to know everything about your job. It's actually a really healthy thing too, because having different people fill different voids in your life, like your partner does not have to be the be all and end all. You actually need to have people outside of that. Like, you have a circle, you have a group. They're just part of that connection. They're going to be there when it matters, but you also have the other ones. Okay? So, the next thing, and this is something that I have to tell you something about myself that you may or may not already know or relate to, but I am a highly organized human. Like, I cannot function without a plan type of organized. And for teachers, I think that's actually pretty common because our job requires us to be on top of everything all the time and have our finger on the pulse. Here's what I had to learn when it came to dating. Like, I had to become what I now call as flexibly organized. It's not a thing, but I'm making it one. Okay? It is me. That is me. That is legit how my now husband describes me. I am flexibly organized. Like, I need warning before the randomness occurs. So that's what I mean by that. Like, I have to have a plan not to have a plan. So, for example, on a Saturday night, my boyfriend at the time was going to pick me up and we were going to go out for tea. I didn't know where we were going. I didn't know what we were doing, like what the rest of the plan was, but I knew that that was happening and I knew approximately when, and that was enough for me to then mentally prepare. So now for some of you, that might sound completely unnecessary. You might absolutely love spontaneity, and that's great. You might love being swept off your feet with absolutely zero notice, and that is beautiful. But for me, I need a little anchor that, like, okay, I need to know this much to stop my brain from going into an absolute planning overdrive. I don't know what's going on. And speaking of being, like, swept off your feet, let me tell you, if you haven't heard this story before, but just a little one about my actual engagement. Sorry, but like, my husband doesn't listen to this anyway. But he had this whole plan, a really lovely plan, actually, probably more us than what actually ended up happening. But of course, it didn't go to plan. So he pivoted and take two. And his backup plan was a surprise, okay? So the initial plan was all well thought out and beautiful and amazing. And then we had to go to the backup plan. Of course, I didn't know that at the time. But his backup plan was at sunrise. Now, I probably haven't told you this about me, but I'm a morning person in the sense that I get up early, but I am not a morning person in the sense that I want to actually talk to anyone or process anything before a certain hour. Yep. Does that make absolutely zero sense to you? Because I seem to confuse a lot of people. Yes, I get up at 4:30, but I have, like, a plan and I have a routine. If you interrupt my routine, or if I'm not prepared for you to do something in the time between like 4:30 and 6, I'd say, then I don't cope and I don't want to talk to you. I'm not really functioning. I'm just doing routine. Okay. But that is how I set myself up for my day. And I've been like that for a while. So this getting up at sunrise type of situation, yeah, just imagine, okay, beautiful backdrop, absolutely gorgeous sunrise, incredibly romantic moment, and then me standing there in a hoodie with my hood all the way up, like buried myself in it, barely functioning, not at my most emotionally available time. Like, it was lovely. It really was. But would I choose to do that again? Probably not. And my husband very well knows that now. And he knows me well enough to know that his original plan was absolutely more suited to who I am and who we are. But of course, that was actually my epic fail of the day before, because I actually, so we're motorbike riders. We were motorbike riding. He was going to propose to me on top of this amazing mountain with this amazing view, and I couldn't make it up the hill. So I spat it and, like, turned around. So maybe if I hadn't have, like, lost my mind and threw my bike, I maybe would have ridden up the hill and had this amazing, beautiful moment and these amazing photos. But instead, he then rocks up the next morning, bashing on my door, telling me to get up and get in the car and hurry up. And I'm like, hoodie on, out the door. What are we doing? Why are we on the beach? This is horrible. I'm tired. I want to go back to bed. Why are you here? And then he's down on one leg, like, there. And I was like, oh. And he's like, see, it was worth getting up, wasn't it? It's like, yes. So, yeah, that's the thing. The right person is going to learn you. They're going to figure out how you work and how you do the same for them. And that's the whole beautiful, like, messy process of it all. And I'm also going to say this, like, I had a relationship end once, like, badly. And one of the reasons given, it was like one of my longer relationships, like, oh, it's just a whole thing. I thought that was the one and all those wonderful things. But anyway, when it ended, I was given some reasons as to why we were splitting up. And one of them, yes, one of them was that I was too organized. Too organized. Can you imagine? My organization was apparently overwhelming. And at the time, that really rocked me. Like, it truly rocked my world, because I thought, this is just who I am. Is this something I have to change about myself? But now, like, I've married a man who absolutely thrives on my organization, because he's not organized at all. And together we just work. It's the right fit. Someone's got to be the planner, right? Someone has to do all the darn packing. But what felt like too much for one person was exactly what another person needed and thrives. So if you've ever been told something about you that is too much, please hear my message. You are not too much. You are just not the right fit. They are not the right fit. The right person will not ask you to shrink yourself to fit their mold, okay? So make sure you get that message. So now I want to talk to you about the next sort of stage. Like, I think sometimes we talk about relationships like they're one fixed thing, but they're not. Dating looks completely different to like newlywed life, which looks completely different to family life with kids and sport and school runs and just all of the things. And every single stage has its own new challenges. And I'm talking about for me, like, there's new things to learn, new adjustments to make. And if someone had just told me that, like really told me, I probably would have been much kinder to myself in each season and each process. Because when you're dating a teacher, the challenge is energy and time. When you're in the early stages of your marriage, the challenge is learning to actually share your life with someone else and realizing that your way isn't always the only way, and they will always be there. Okay? They're in your space, you're in their space, and you have to learn to make that work. And then when you're in family life, that's a whole nother level. Like, my kids turned 11 like the other week, and I've had to start to think, like, in 7 years, they're adults. Like, holy heck. They're going to be off starting to live their own lives. And what's left? Well, it's just going to be me and my husband and the dogs. So you have to maintain that relationship the whole way through. You can't just get to the end and suddenly go, oh, hi, you're back. Yeah, right. So it's just us. What do we do now? Like, that's actually something we do now. And I think that it's really important is that we literally have to put dates in the calendar, properly scheduled, like meetings, because with sport and kids and work and just all of life, this doesn't happen. Like, you have to keep dating your partner. It's not romantic in the traditional sense. Well, maybe you can put it that way, but it works. It means that we are maintaining our relationship instead of just surviving alongside each other. Yeah, we probably go through those phases too, especially if we have a fight or something like that. Like, we have those too. Do not get me wrong. The biggest fights that we sort of have are more about like teaching life or my sport, because I prioritize these things. And sometimes if the priorities clash with another priority or a family priority, then stuff hits the fan, But we work through it. And we certainly couldn't do anything that we do without our family support network. Like, genuinely, our family is the only reason that we get these moments together. So if you have people around you who can support you in that way, lean on them. There is absolutely no prize for doing this on your own. Like, there is no light at the end of the tunnel if you can't actually make it into the tunnel to start. Like, I don't know where that analogy was heading, but I'm trying to say, like, you don't get a prize for pushing yourself and not putting yourself first. I don't know. I'm trying to make it make sense. But I'll say one more thing here. Like, throughout all of it, the dating, the marriage phase, the newlyweds, or like, it doesn't have to be marriage. You could just have moved in together. And then maybe you move into family life. Like, I've always tried to maintain myself, to still be me, to still have my career, to have my goals, to have my identity outside of whoever I'm with. Because you've also got to think about the phase that if you were to lose that, when you pour everything into a relationship or into being a mum or into being a teacher and you forget to just be you, that's when stuff gets really, really hard. You have to keep yourself. You also need to date yourself, okay? You need to go on solo dates too. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a mum and I'm sometimes exhausted. I'm saying it for every woman. Like, you need to date yourself as well. because if you are dating yourself, you are getting to know yourself, because that is the foundation that everything else in your life is actually built on. Okay? I hope all of that made sense. I'm a little bit all over the show as always, but I'm real and I'm literally just talking about my own experience. And it was a question that I was asked in like the DM space of Instagram. So please make sure you're jumping in there too and letting me know what you want to hear about. And that was one of the concerns. Like, how do you date as a teacher? Honestly, this is me. Like, this is what I had to do. You've got to find the person that fits with you and understands you as a human as well as you with your career, because that is a part of you as well. Okay, but just a part. You're still you, and you've got to remain and focus on practicing those things too. So I want to give you some affirmations, and I really want you to sit with these so you can write them down, just listen, whatever you need to do. But these are some things just to remind you to come back to yourself and to just really focus. So I'm going to say them nice and slow so you can just listen. I am worthy of a love that works with my life, not against it. My organization, my drive, and my passion are not too much. They are the right amount for the right person. I am allowed to evolve through every stage of love and life. I maintain myself, my identity, and my goals, even within my relationship. I plan to not have a plan and to trust that things unfold exactly as they should. I invest in my relationship consistently, not just when it's convenient. I'm aligned, I am thriving, and the love I give is worth giving. All right. That is a wrap on today's episode, and I hope that this one gave you something, whether it was a laugh, a light bulb moment, or just the reminder that you are certainly not alone in finding all of this hard sometimes. And if you want to hear more about any of the stories that I've mentioned, like the whole saga of my engagement, please just let me know on Instagram what you want to hear about. I'm always happy to share. I'm a very honest human, and so are my children, unfortunately. It's always a blessing and a curse. But if this episode has resonated with you, please make sure you share it with a teacher friend or anyone who just needs to hear it today. Leave me a review if you're loving the podcast. It genuinely helps more teachers find this little community that I am trying to build and get going. I don't make any profit off any of this. This is purely just me sharing my, I'd say advice and wisdom. I don't know whether it's wisdom or not, but sharing with you and trying to be that person that can walk alongside you and hold your hand through some of these really tough times that we have going on right now, being the teachers that we are today. So until next time, my loves, stay aligned, stay thriving, and go love yourself well. And I will talk to you again next week. Goodbye, my loves.